is under the water. It's just covered by water, so we don't see it. And because we walk most of the time on terrestrial ground, we don't think that three-quarters of our earth is covered by water. It doesn't, that doesn't calculate with us. I told you, went out on the water with a friend who's used to being out on the water. And the scariest thing to me was to be out, and I know you've experienced this many times, to be out on the water and look around you and not be able to see land.
Yeah.
And go, I couldn't get back to land now if I wanted to. Not for a long, long time.
Don't even know where it is.
And just to look around you and to stand on the bow, and for, as far as your eye can see, to be nothing but water. And to realize this is way too far to swim. If this thing goes down, we're in trouble. So look at these verses. Will you go with me to Exodus chapter 15. Exodus chapter 15. And look at, this is called the Song of the Sea. Song of the Sea, Red Sea, as he brings the children of Israel through the Red Sea. Look at verse 18. I'm going to read in Hebrew first, and we'll translate it in English. We do it in our liturgy. It says this: Yahweh Yimlok Leolam Laed. Adonai, Yahweh, will reign forever and ever. And what does he do? He parts the Red Sea. This is called the Song of the Sea. He takes and parts the waters. It says by the blast of his nostrils, he's able to have the waters congeal on both sides, and the children of Israel walk through on not muddy ground, it's Yavashah, dry ground. They walk through on dry ground. He controls the water. And that demonstrates his kingship. Kingship and control of the water are equal. You have to be king in order to control the water. That's why Psalm 93 talks about the water right in the middle of it. The Lord reigns, and oh, by the way, he controls the water. Now watch what happens. That's Exodus 15. Adonai Yimlok Leolam Laed. The Lord God will reign forever and ever. Look at Psalm 29. Now we're going to look at a few Psalms. Look at Psalm 29. Psalm 29. It says this. It opens up talking about the sons, the B'nai Elim, the sons of God. It says, ascribe to the Lord, O heaven, some of your translations say, O heavenly beings. This is the B'nai Elohim, the B'nai Elim. Those are the Elohim that live in the heavenly realm. These are Elohim, these are spirits, these are gods, created by him. It says this, ascribe to the Lord, verse 2, the glory due his name, worship the Lord in the splendor of his holiness. Now watch this. The voice of the Lord is over the waters. The glory of God thunders. The voice of the Lord is powerful. The voice of the Lord is full of majesty. The voice of the Lord breaks the cedars. The Lord breaks the cedars of Lebanon. He makes Lebanon to skip like a calf and Syrian like a young wild ox. The voice of the Lord flashes forth flames of fire. The voice of the Lord shakes the wilderness. The Lord shakes the wilderness of Kadesh. The voice of the Lord makes the deer give birth and strips the forest bare. And in his temple all cry, Kavod, glory. The Lord sits, now look at this, sits enthroned over the flood. The Lord sits enthroned as king forever. May the Lord give strength to his people. May the Lord bless his people with peace. And by the way, notice that 7 times in that psalm says the voice of the Lord. And notice the parallel. He sits enthroned above the flood, and he is king. The one who controls the water is king. That's key. Whoever can control the water demonstrates that they are the one who rules the world and the universe, and can control the universe. Now, look with me at, let's go to a couple other Psalms. Look at Psalm 74. Psalm 74.
Brent?
Yes.
one thing about you talking about the king, and that brought back to me the Magna Carta, where they took the throne of the King of England at low tide and set it out on the beach and said, now if you're the king, stop the water from coming in.
How funny.
Once you got up to about here, you realized that he wasn't the king.
Recognizing God's sovereignty.
That's where the Magna Carta came from.
Okay.
Wow.
Look at this. Look at Psalm 74, verse 12. Psalm 74, verse 12 says this: Yet God, my King, is from old, from everlasting, working salvation in the midst of the earth. You divided the sea by your might. Now look at this. You broke the heads of the sea monsters on the waters. You crushed the heads of Leviathan. You gave him his food for the creatures of the wilderness. You split open springs and brooks. You dried up ever-flowing streams. Yours is the day, yours also the night. You have established the heavenly lights and the sun. You have fixed all the boundaries of the earth. You have made summer and winter. In other words, Yahweh was able to take Leviathan and just waste him. It wasn't even a battle. Later on, he's going to say in the Psalms of Leviathan, he was like a rubber ducky in my little pool. I'm paraphrasing.
Slightly.
Slightly.
In your bathtub, huh?
He says, yeah, Leviathan was like a little rubber ducky in my bathtub. You know? It was no big deal. What you guys think was a big deal in the ancient Near East was nothing. I sliced and diced him and fed him to the animals of the wilderness. Now, this is borrowed imagery, not borrowed theology. You guys already think this, so let me tell you. You think that this is how Leviathan rules? This is how the monsters of the sea rule? Look, no big deal. I dealt with them. They're not a problem. Now look at me at Psalm 65. Go back just a few Psalms. Look at Psalm 65. Psalm 65. And we'll start with verse 5. It says this: By awesome deeds you answer us with righteousness, O God of our salvation, the hope of all the ends of the earth and of the farthest seas, and the one who by his strength established the mountains, being girded with might, who stills the roaring of the seas, the roaring of the waves, the tumult of the peoples, so that those who dwell at the ends of the earth are in awe of your signs. You make the going out of the morning and the evening to shout for joy. You visit the earth and water it. You greatly enrich it. The river of God is full of water. You provide their grain, for so have you prepared it. You water its furrows abundantly, settling its ridges, softening it with showers and blessing its growth. Look at that. This is God. That's what he does. This is who he is. Go back to, for just a moment, go back to Psalm 77. Go to Psalm 77. He says this. Go to verse 11. Look at this. It's all over the Psalms. It's all over the Psalms. This is the backstory to what Yeshua does in the Gospels. If you don't know this backstory, when you see him walk on water, when you see him calm the wind and the waves, you don't have the backstory if you haven't read these texts. All this is informing why the disciples say, who is this man that even the wind and the waves obey him? Look at Psalm 77, verse 11. I will remember the deeds of Adonai. Yes, I will remember your wonders of old. I will ponder all your work and meditate on your mighty deeds. Your way, O God, is holy. What God is great like our God?
What the heck happened?
You are the God who works wonders. You have made known your might among the peoples. You, with your arm, redeemed your people, the children of Jacob and Joseph. When the waters saw you, O God, when the waters saw you, they were afraid. Indeed, the deep trembled. The clouds poured out water, the skies gave forth thunder, the arrows flashed on every side. The crash of your thunder was in the whirlwind. Your lightnings lighted up the world, and the earth trembled and shook. Now look at this, listen to this. Speaking of Yahweh, Your way was through the sea, your path through the great waters, yet your footprints were unseen. Who walks in the water? Who walks in the water? Yahweh does. Yahweh walks in the water. And yet you can't trace him. You can't track his path. Then he says, you led your people like a flock by the hand of Moses and Aaron. You brought them to the Red Sea. You were able to lead them through the water. You were able to bring a flood and then move the water back. You were able to walk on the water. You're able to set boundaries so the water doesn't cover the earth again. Go with me to Psalm 104. Psalm 104. This psalm is very similar to Psalm 93. He says this. It starts off this psalm, notice, with bless the Lord, O my soul. And then it ends with bless the Lord, O my soul. Hallelujah. Psalm 105 begins, bless the Lord, O my soul. And ends with bless the Lord, O my soul. So Psalm 104 and 105 were meant to be read together. They have the same beginning and the same ending, both psalms. This happens quite a bit in the Psalter, so we're supposed to read these psalms as a unit. However, today we're going to focus on Psalm 104 for just a moment. Look what happens. It says, you are clothed with splendor and majesty, covering yourself with light as with a garment, stretching out the heavens like a tent. He lays the beams of his chambers on the waters. He makes the clouds his chariot. He rides on the wings of the wind. We've said this before. Yahweh Elohim has a chariot army. He rides the wind. He rides the clouds. The Psalms are replete with this language. He's riding the clouds with his chariot army. There is a parallel universe, to put it in another way. There is a realm that we can see, and there is an unseen realm that also operates. And the day will come when both realms will unite under the authority of God, under his rule. Look what it says here. He says, you set the earth on its foundation so that it should never be moved. You covered it with the deep as with a garment. The waters stood above the mountains. At your rebuke they fled. At the sound of your thunder they took to flight. The mountains rose, the valleys sank down in the place that you appointed for them. You set a boundary that they may not pass, so that they may not again cover the earth. You make springs gush forth in the valleys, they flow between the hills. They give drink to every beast of the field, the wild donkeys quench their thirst. Beside them the birds of the heavens dwell, they sing among the branches. From your lofty abode, you water the mountains. The earth is satisfied with the fruit of your work. You cause the grass to grow for the livestock and plants for man to cultivate, that he may bring forth food from the earth, and wine to gladden the heart of man, oil to make his face shine, and bread to strengthen man's heart. Who controls the water? Yahweh. Simple answer is this. If you're reading the Hebrew Scriptures, and you ask yourself, just straight out, who controls the water? Yahweh. He makes the